questions you want me to go back over, or we can just proceed? Okay, I think we can proceed then. So like I earlier mentioned in the last class, I said you should already have like a structure you are going for when you start your design. But like I said, don't restrict yourself. Nothing stops you from designing this and maybe you're not feeling it and then you switch it up. So always know that the possibilities are endless. Design can be iterative till you hand it over. Even after handing it over, you can still make changes. So with that being said, like I said, the whole assumption behind this design is that we have already done all the mental gymnastics and we've picked our inspiration and we've decided the look we're going for. So with that assumption, we could say, oh, the next section is some more information about this product, about the website, or more information about the products that the website is about, basically. So with that, you could just duplicate this frame. I like to keep my spacing like consistent. So the spacing between the different frames will be equal. In this case, I'm using 80. There's no rule behind that. It's just a personal preference. Of course, you don't want to use too much space and you don't want to also use too little space because you have to imagine this on a desktop screen. Okay, so duplicating that, we can just switch the position of these two. So now we know we're going to keep a picture here, and on this other side, we want some text. Now, this is like what they call this is, there's a name for this section. This is like the hero section. So this is where like you have probably the biggest text and the most graphic text really. So at this section, there are no rules. You could keep it the same text, but you could also reduce it. It's up to you. The most important thing is this first section is the section that gets your user's attention. So you should utilize whatever design, what's the word now? Whatever design styles that you want to use. Say you want to use maybe a GIF in this position, is a very good idea to do that because this is the first thing your user will see. So you need to capture their attention before they scroll. So what comes after that, you can now maybe reduce the font sizes, you can whatever, but that's the basic idea behind why the font size is reduced in this frame. So I'll just copy the text here. Oh, it's still Purpose, could you help us change the font so that it's easy to copy?
Okay, all right, I'll do that now.
Thank you.
Or can you just please change from, because I will just have to open my Figma and it's still loading.
Oh,
You can just change from that A question mark to plus Jakarta.
this
I think
all
it's,
okay, yeah.
yeah, change everything.
Plus Jakarta.
Still loading.
No, I don't want extra light. This should be medium. Yeah, medium. Oh, you still have medium.
Okay, I'm there now.
I'm already making most of the changes.
Okay, got down.
Okay, so we could just copy this and paste here. I'm using 48 now because, like I said, it's not my most important text. I can reduce the font size, but like I said, there are no rules. If you're designing and that's the style you're going for, please by all means go for what you think looks best or fits the look you are going for. And then the button, learn more about PHA. So this is like pretty very straightforward. It's just text. Say you already have this picture style in mind. For the sake of time, I'm not going to go through. I'm guessing this is very basic. Everyone gets it. How you add pictures to frames or shapes. Your decision to go with this style is completely up to you. So there isn't really any theory behind it. It's up to you as a designer. $783. This frame larger? It's larger. I was wondering. This is 1512. Okay, so this is even where we can talk about responsive design. So we have this section. Is there any question or can I proceed?
No questions from me.
You can proceed, ma.
It's straightforward. So now some structure is sort of established. So we have left aligned, like normal left or right aligned, then we have center aligned, left or right aligned. So we could already see that there's some form of alternating structure. So by default, it's expected that the next thing that should follow should be center aligned. Now, like I said, there are no rules to this. So for instance, if this was like a section, maybe we are talking about different offerings of Product Hub Africa, it will make sense to stick to this style for the section. Best case, maybe you will just alternate the next, for example, maybe the next one, it would be picture on the right and text on the left, but you should stick to this style because these sections are connected. So it's something like there's a law behind this. Please, can someone help me with that law? It's not familiarity. Is it familiarity? But basically, you get the idea. Like if sections of your design are connected, it makes sense to keep it consistent. So keep the style consistent. Best case, maybe you alternate some certain positions, but it should remain the same so that by default, when the user is viewing that screen, they can tell that, oh, this is a section. Okay, I'm scrolling to this section. What does this section contain? Oh, it contains the features of this app, and they can just read it because truthfully, people's attention is very short. So more often than not, people won't read every line of text on your landing page. So it makes sense to group related things together. But since that's not the case with our website, this is an entirely different section. It makes sense that we could go the route of the center aligned because it's not related to this. So this is an entirely separate section. So we can just duplicate this, keep our spacing the same, like I said. So far, we're using 80 for all sections. This is the why you should join us section. I'll just copy this. And that's for that. And now we are working on the different reasons why you should join us. So we'll be working on creating these cards. I'll create one and then we'll just duplicate the rest. Okay, Fritz, please go ahead with your question. Yeah, please, you can go ahead. Is there a mistake? She's raising her hand. Okay, I think it's a mistake. Okay, so like I said, why you should join us. So just for this class, I'll create one of the cards. Like, please, I want you to always remember there are no rules to things like this. Most landing pages give you freedom to be very creative depending on the brand you're designing the landing page for. So if you're designing for maybe like a very corporate organization, of course, your styling will be more suited to the serious tones. If you're designing for maybe very young people or you're designing for kids, of course, you will have a whole lot more creative freedom. But at the end of the day, please remember that there are no rules. It's down to you as a designer to explore whatever you feel will look good. So this is why you should join us section. Like there are 1,000 other ways I could have represented this, but like I said, the final decision is down to you on what will look good. So I'll just go through this just for the class. So first of all, we would have like the frame for the title of our card, which is like the main reason why you should join us. Meaningful connections. Align the text. Of course, there should be a section for our subtext. Now, I want the title to come with an icon, some graphical element. So, it's expected that I expect by now you guys know where to get resources from. So, when you're already conceptualizing what your landing page should look like, you should already know I'm going to need this icon, I'm going to need that icon, and you can trust for them. So, with the assumption that we've already done all that, okay, we have our icon. I'll just group this together. Shift A. Let's use it. And then our subtext, of course, is smaller. So change this to 20. 140, spacing of 140%. Let's just copy this. And we'll frame this Shift A. So now we're going to add our padding. I'm going to make it fixed height, first of all. So if our grid if we're using a grid with padding of 96 pixels on each side, this is where you will do some maths as a designer. If our active grid space is 1248 pixels, and I've already done my calculation that, oh, what will look good here? 3 cards will look good. 4 cards in this width may be too narrow. 2 cards may be too wide. So what do? I calculate how to share three cards across our active grid space and calculating the space I would use as well. So let's say I'm using 24 pixels as my spacing. That's 24 times 2, 48. This is 1248. So by default, that leaves us 1,200 pixels for our cards. Divided by 3 cards, that's 400. So our cards should be 400 at least, at most rather. So I'll just come here, my fixed width 400, apply my padding. I want to use 20 for my padding. I'll just make this fit into the frame. So fill container, change this to my body text color. Change this to my main text color. And then I'll add my stroke. So and around the corners. So around the corners with, let's say, 8. In second thought, I think 24 will be better. Yeah, so that's one card. And I'll just add a fill, of course. I'll just duplicate that across. Now, it's expected that when you're designing, you won't do everything at once. So you just establish the structure. Once I do this, Shift A, apply my spacing 24, centralize. Say I've already taken down 5 reasons why people should join us. So I'll just duplicate this. Take out 1. And then frame this both together as a group. So there we have our section for why you should join us. And that's one section done. You would obviously come back to this and edit as required, edit your icons, whatever, but you have the structure already. So it's just the final finishing touches you're doing. In the last class, someone asked about the spacing and grouping. And I remember Mr. Ope used this as an example. So this is where things like grouping will matter. And the example I gave where maybe like your styling, when you have like similar things related to something. So for this one is listing different reasons why you should join us. So it makes sense that they are all grouped together and they follow similar patterns. So that's pretty straightforward. Is there any question or can I proceed? Okay, I'm guessing there is no question. Mr. Alpet, do you have anything to add?
No, please go ahead. Please continue.
Okay, I'm more liking how the class is very quiet. Okay, so to end this section, we could add something about what's happening with us. We've told you why you should join us. So now we're telling you what's happening with us. So you even see more reason why you should join us. I'll just paste this here. And this is one section by itself. Now, looking at it, the frame is looking very white. Then, like I said, it's your creative judgment. But if we look at it, this is just looking so white, and think of it as a user, you're just scrolling, it's just white. Like there isn't really anything catching your eye. It's just lots of text. I'm not really a fan of using lots of text on landing pages, but sometimes we can't avoid that because we have information that needs to be passed out. But a smart way to do that is to make use of colors, make use of break and section. Don't just have long lines of text with the same pattern continuously. Keep your user interested and engaged with your product by like utilizing different styles. So smart way to do that is have like a section with a different color. And that's what we did here. So you can introduce a different section, use like a different background color, use like a different call to action color for your buttons. So you can see that it creates some contrast, takes a break from the white we've been seeing, and it will pick their attention. To do that, we could just copy one of our sections already. And in this case, like I said, the font size can change because it's not the same hierarchy as the others. That's one thing. Like you establish the most important parts, have like hierarchy, and then your what do they call it? Your not fonts. What's the word for like things that relate to text? anyway, your fonts or whatever should follow such rules. So of course, the most important thing should be the largest. Subsequently, you can reduce like the sizes. I feel like I'm talking to myself a lot, but it's fine.
We're actually following, actually.
Yes, we are following you.
I think it's flowing,
We are
that's why there's
following
no question.
you.
Okay, you're giving me hope. I was worried for a bit.
We are here.
Okay, that's good. So we'll just change this to our secondary color, and then now we have this section. So now what we will do is we would add padding to the top and bottom as well, so that we can add a fill color and it looks good. So when we do this, we'll just come here, change all the colors we want to change. So we're changing everything to white now. And then we add our fill. So our fill is going to be our primary color in this case. So you can see how we've brightened our design. Like it was looking too white. Now we have some color. So can I proceed?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
I'm guessing like, I hope I'm not boring you people too much, or I'm worried that I'm boring you people.
No, you are not.
Be rest assured that people have
No,
questions.
no.
When the question comes, you will beg.
Okay. All right. So now we've told people, okay, ignite your passion. We've told you who we work with. We've established trust. We have told you we are dedicated to making our members grow. Now, this is why you should join us. We have events. Oh, you can get internships. This is like a very attractive thing because lots of people are interested in what happens after I learn. So this is highlighted. We did that using different colors. Now, the next part, I want to tell you some of the courses we have available. Now, bear in mind that sometimes the designer won't necessarily come up with the format in which this information will be displayed. So sometimes your product manager will be the one to come up with this, like the content of the screen is now up to you to visualize it. So I won't really focus on how you determine the content of your landing page, because it's not primarily the responsibility of the designer. It's more so the responsibility of maybe the marketing team, the product managers. Yeah, the designer is primarily tasked with just translating what they have requested to be displayed in like a creative way. So I won't dwell too much on the structure of this and how the different sections follow each other. But in the events that you find yourself having to come up with the content of like a landing page, the smartest thing to do, because I don't really believe you have to reinvent the wheel every time. Like you don't have to, if something works, it works. So the smartest thing to do in such an instance would be to pick inspiration from other sites, maybe your competitors, see how they displayed their products and see how you can make yours better. What is wrong with their design? What do you think could be done better? And then you leverage on that. But typically, the marketing team or the product managers or even like your C-level executives typically come up with what they want to see in your landing page. So don't worry too much about that. So with the assumption that we've been given the contents, the next part is, they said, display our courses. So the structure, we are sticking to this structure still. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this again, maintaining the 80 pixel spacing. Now you would have like a small title showing you that these are our courses. So will be like in a smaller font size, of course. You play around with your font styles to figure out what looks good. Our courses. So in this section, you could maybe highlight some of the topics in your courses, just so the user's interest is amplified. Oh, I see product design. Oh, I can see I will learn this in product design. Oh, I will learn this in product management. So you could just come up with something. This works. You could explore other options. Do I need to show how this was designed? I think it's very straightforward. Do I need to do it? Okay, no response. I'll work with the assumption that we know how to do this.
Please mute your mic.
Sorry? I didn't hear what you said.
I think the person thought it's a random person humming.
Oh, okay.
So he was saying to mute the mic.
I didn't even hear that, funny enough. Sorry, I'm resizing this because like auto layout is not, the settings don't really allow like resizing by just resizing. Yeah. Is you would have to you would have to do some maths when you are doing things like this. Okay, that solves it. So finally, we'll now give some testimonials. So the user has seen all that we are offering, all we are promising. Now, to get even more trust from them and to prompt them to take like an action, the final part, we would have like testimonials. We didn't do that in this design, but typically what most people do is after like testimonials, there's like a final prompt. So there will be like a section where they say, oh, stats, begin your journey to maybe financial independence, or begin your journey to being like a tech superstar, you will use like very compelling statements or like things that will just ginger the person. Like, okay, you've given me all this info. You've told me all you have to offer. Now we would have like a final call to action just before the footer. We didn't do that here, but like it's something to possibly explore. I'm just sharing with you guys. Like I said, there are no.
Mr. Mike, can it be like what you're trying to explain? Can it be like get me started?
Okay, let's even do it. Yes, let's do that. So I'll just I'll just copy this so that we'll focus more on that section. This is 1440 125. Okay, so that's for our testimonial section. Now, like I said, most times, after you've given the users all this information, it sort of makes sense to have like a final section where you prompt them to take an action. Now, there are different reasons why you will do that. Sometimes you don't have a sticky navigation bar. So this bar, some designers, when they design, they make this sticky. But there are like so many styles. Some people have like navigation bars that maybe expand to something else, or there are different ways you could do that. But the key thing is you should make your call to actions accessible to your users. So the easiest way to do that is keep your navigation bar sticky. It's permanently there. But even besides that, you still want to keep them focused on the main thing you want. You don't want people to just visit your site and disappear. Your design is only successful when it's giving results. And what are results in terms of like a landing page? That's when you're getting clicks, you're getting people to sign up, you're getting people to send messages, or you're getting people to fill forms. You need to get engagements for like your design to be considered successful. It doesn't matter how fine your design is. If people are not using it, it defeats the purpose. So I like to keep call to actions very easily accessible. So most times what I would do if I was designing a landing page, after I've given all the information and told you all the offerings, with the assumption that the user is still scrolling, because a lot of times there's a lot of churn. People start and they dump your landing page. Unfortunately, that's the reality. So with the assumption that we have kept the user's attention to this point, instead of making them stress to go all the way back to this section to start signing up, or even if we have a navigation bar, the navigation bar could be easily forgotten, in all honesty. We are more conscious of these things because we are designers. So that's why we know, oh, there is one navigation bar at the top that you could sign up from. So you have to assume your users are not tech savvy in any way. They've not seen any sites like your own. That's the best way to design. So you are technically designing for like children. You should make it that simple to get. So the best way to do that, in my opinion, or what I like to do if I can, after all this, I will introduce one other section. Most times I will use color and maybe like a picture of the app or something, if we were to have an app. And give them like a very catchy statement, something that you have to appeal to their emotion.
Is the call still on? I can't hear anything.
I can hear you do. Can I?
We've been hearing. I've been hearing you.
Okay, so
I can
sorry.
hear you.
Okay, so like I was saying, the final push to motivate them to take the action. I like to use like maybe very catchy statement. Maybe I would say, maybe we already have 1,000 students that have graduated and are thriving. Be like, oh, join our over 1,000 students thriving in their tech careers, or you have to be psychological with it, something that will prompt them to take an action. You don't just put join us now or one very generic thing. You are appealing to their emotions. You want them to click on that button. So this is where your creativity comes in. Think of something. So can anybody think of something we could use that if you were visiting the site, when you see it, you will feel like, no, I need to sign up for this.
Like I said, I think get me started is fine for me.
Okay. We can do better than get me started, but let's just start with get me started. And then you would have like whatever text you want to add. And then you have your final call to action. So if I will probably design this. I think I want to make this smaller. So maybe 400. So I'll probably maybe use our secondary color for this section. Let me change this to primary. So this is like entirely different from any other section we have here. That's one way to do it. So there's no way the user's attention won't be gotten. Like, oh, I've been seeing white, I've seen blue, from nowhere now I'm seeing yellow. And then maybe you use something really graphical here. When I'm designing sections like this, I try to, maybe you could use like a GIF, something interactive. Maybe you're showing how your app works, or just something to really get the user to click on that button. Like I said, we're not really diving into the content parts of it, but you guys get the concepts. That's what I want. I want you guys to get the concepts behind some of all these design choices. So that's just the idea. You want to get people's attention, give them like a final call to action that they'll click on. And then most landing pages, you just end it with like a footer. So your footer should typically contain like your links, your social links. So that's where people will see things like your LinkedIn, your, now is X anyway, YouTube, Facebook, whatever you have. Then your other links on your landing page. Most times your landing page will have supporting pages. So you would have things like maybe about us page, contact us, maybe like redirecting people to your blogs, whatever. Or you will have, typically your footer has your navigation so that people can be redirected to other parts of your app. And any other thing, maybe you could have like a frequently asked sections, asked questions section. Some people put their frequently asked questions directly on the landing page. It all depends on you and what you and your team are prioritizing as the content you want to be seen on your landing page. So that's just the basic idea. And then sometimes there's also like a form to subscribe or whatever is required. Get the idea, right? So with that, I can say we have concluded on our landing page.
All right, Miss Emeke.
So
Thank you.
thank you too.
Yeah, so any question from what has been taught so far, please, guys? Any questions from what has been taught so far?
Okay, no questions.
No question. Wow.
That's good now. It means
That's actually that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, so moving on from here, we'll be designing for mobile, because whenever you're making a design like this, especially for if it's not an app, we all know okay, an app is for mobile devices, but especially for web or website or landing page at all, or whichever, you have to, as a designer, you have to focus on your target audience. Okay, where are the people I'm designing for? Majority of these people, what device do they have access to? Is it tablet? Is it laptop, or is it mobile? Is it phone? So, and in the kind of what, in the kind of
Very important.
in the kind of should I say the kind of should I say what, or the kind of generation we find ourselves in, we are more like mobile inclined. Everybody has a phone. So if I give you my website now or my anything, the first place that you first want to check it out is from your mobile device before you even go to your laptop. That's because you have one. But there are some people that don't even have laptop, but they have phones. So you have to put into consideration that, and always design for mobile and focus focus your attention more on the mobile. That's where you see some websites whereby they will say website is not available on mobile device, switch to a larger screen size. Probably they are doing that because okay, they know okay, this set of people will actually dishing out this content to should have a laptop, and they are going to have a laptop. If not, they will have definitely designed for a mobile compatibility, for it to be mobile compatible. So we have one more class, which is Saturday. So we are going to be doing mobile. I could have said we should do this mobile next class, but we might not be able to finish it next class. And also next class is not just for mobile only. We'll have other discussions. And also regarding projects. So today, tonight, everybody has been grouped already. I'm going to send the file, the docs to the group for you to find your project mates and also what your project entails. Yeah. What's a project entails. So next week will be just for you guys to focus on your projects. There won't be classes. If there will be any classes, probably any special class, it will be communicated, but there shouldn't be any class for according to plan. So to proceed, we would like to definitely we are going to be exceeding 8 o'clock today because we want to do some mobile design. If not complete it, but at least we start. And
Mr.
Will you
Okoye, I'm
want
sorry.
to take over?
can you guys hear me?
Yes,
we
yes,
can.
we can hear you.
It's raining here, so
We can hear you.
So
okay.
you like to take over? Let me stop sharing then.
Mr. Okoye, hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have a question though, but it's not to this class.
All right, what's the question?
Okay. I have noticed that all my icon from my icon material, that's from my plugin,
Yes.
they all appear in black colors. And I have watched most of your videos. The ones you have on your system are white. And the ones that I am getting, they are all black. And even when I try to change the background color and all that, sometimes if it comes in black, I try to change the color to white. It just vanishes. Like it is there, but you cannot see it, probably because of the background color also. I don't know if it is
About
just
the brighter.
yes.
Okay, all right. So is there anybody that can attempt answering this question, please? Anybody in the call? Nelson, Mr. Adelaja, Francis. Does anybody have
Excuse me, please, what's the question
If-
again? I couldn't hear him very well.
if I'm getting what he said, either one of two things. I think it's probably either the selection color that is having issues with, or peradventure is because the material symbols. If you are trying to shift it from like the way you do your outline when you are creating buttons, it's asking for payment because mine has been asking for payment recently.
No, that's not his question. That's not his question.
No, that's not what I'm asking. That's not what I'm asking. My icons, they are always coming in black. There's no white.
What
You
plugin do
change
you
the
use,
color.
Bright?
You change the color now.
All right, Mr. Adelaja, I think he has a response or solution.
I think Rosemary already just answered it. I think it's to change the color, or maybe you're also bringing them in on your black background. That's against the background of maybe your Figma is themed black.
Yeah, that was what I was saying,
Okay.
selection color. Maybe
Yes,
everything just changes. Yeah.
So
yeah,
the
my
icons come
Figma.
traditionally as black, and if whatever color you're seeing is also changeable, I believe that should solve it. And sometimes they even have varieties.
Yes. So regarding, it
My
depends on the, brother, right? It depends on the plugin you are using. If you are using material design, I think you should check your plugin very well. So there is a option for you to select what color you want it's an SVG file, SVG icon. So there's an option for you to select what color you are importing in as. So if you have selected white, that means any icon you import or you try to use is going to appear in a white color, which you can change by yourself, or if you go to your selection color. And don't change the frame. Make sure you are changing the icon itself, because the icon is always in a frame or in a group or in a rectangle, whichever one. So make sure you are clicking the particular icon. If you just click on the entire thing and change the color, it will vanish just like you said. So, but make sure you are changing the icon inside of the frame or inside of the rectangle or inside of the group stuff. Do you understand? So once you click on the
Okay.
icon you brought in, you are still going to double click again to get inside, to get the actual icon that is inside. I will show you that once I'm sharing my screen. But I don't know, you guys should give me about 1 minute. Let me connect my iPod. It's raining here, so I can hardly hear you.
Okay, no
Go ahead,
wahala.
go ahead, go ahead.
Is it my network or no one is actually speaking?
No one is talking right now. No one is talking right
All right, can you guys hear me now?
Yes, boss.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right, I think this is better. Okay, so to continue with, I think I'm sharing my screen already, right?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
All right, so we are going to be trying to design for mobile, but before that, we are going to be trying out some responsive design also, so that's transferring or converting our web page to a mobile device will be quite an easy task. So somebody asked a question regarding the navigation bar. I think we will start from there. But before that, we know we are going to be using Android frame of what's the size? 360, 100 large. Where's 100 large? Yeah, of 360, of a width of 360. The height can be as long as anything, depending on the content. So now, if I try to duplicate this one, I've duplicated this section now, and I try to reduce it. I just try to reduce it to 360 and make sure it's, why is this thing in component? I try to reduce it to 360. Yeah, this is 360. So this is 362. Some design actually might be doing as if they are moving together with it, but it is kind of not looking okay. it's kind of not looking okay because we have not designed it to be responsive. So there is either as a designer, is either you bring in your frame, where is Android large 360. So is either you bring in your frame like this, then you start designing your mobile design from scratch based on what you have on here. You copy your Euro image, you copy this one, then you start reducing it. Is either you do this, you start reducing it to at least fit in the mobile before you now start to come and arrange back. First copy in, bring in your this thing, bring in your contents. Sorry, I'm very bad at using trackpad. Bring in your contents. So then you start reducing one after the other. So you get, or you could have taken your time to design, make your web design to be adaptive, to be responsive. You could have done that, and that is what we'll be trying to do right now. So firstly, you start with the navigation bar. So when we talk about responsiveness, we are basically talking about auto layout and constraint. Before auto layout, we use constraint, and once auto layout comes out, it is preferable to use the two of them together to make it more perfect and more efficient. And also there are some added features to auto layout also that to make it more responsive. It makes responsiveness more sweet. And also you can also even add breakpoints to it by using the minimum width, the maximum width, and the others. We are not going to be dealing with that in this class. So it is like an assignment for you guys to learn about auto layout and also learn how to apply, how to make use of minimum width and height of an auto layout. I'm coming. Let me see. Okay, this is a component. I can't edit this. Let me detach this. Yeah, if you look at this, or these two, they are something that you should also learn about. So go to YouTube. It's available. There are a lot of, I believe there are a lot of videos available on them. We are not going to be focusing on them today or anytime in this class. So let's start with this stuff. I'm going to be explaining. Hey. I'm going to be explaining this auto layout tutorials in this class. I'm coming, please. I think this is better. All right, so I'm going to be explaining auto layouts, but I'll start with this navigation bar. So if you look at this navigation bar now, let me bring this one outside. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, yes.
All right.
Yes.
So let me bring this
Yes,
one
sir.
outside. You all remember how we did this navigation bar? If you don't, I'll refer you to last videos so you can watch previous videos. So, but if you remember, thank God. So we are just going to be doing, what we are going to be doing is to be reorganizing this and to make it responsive. So if you look at this one, for example, if I do this, okay, this is actually responsive. And let me just do, I don't know how can I destroy this not to be responsive? So I can show you how what actually makes it responsive. Okay, I think you are going to understand that as we proceed. But this one is already responsive. Thank God it is. So now what we are going to do again is for this one, we set this one. This one is already in auto layout. And the text inside it is set to fill content. The text inside this one too is set to fill content. So what does that actually mean? So if I have an auto layout, let me say this one is fixed, right? If I have, let me use frame, for example. So if I have a frame and I have a text in a frame, this is a text. I have a test. I have a test, right? So this test, I add auto layout to this test. So this test is an auto layout. This is the test, and this surrounding is an auto layout. So if this test is set to field container, that means wherever my frame is set to fixed automatically. That means wherever I'm taking this frame, wherever the shape of this frame, this test is actually going to fill up the space. If I click on this, I have a test now. You're going to see that it's filling up. It's taking up. Look at the shape. It's taking up this whole container. It's filling this whole container. That is what fill actually means. But org on the other hand means it's going to org, like it will find it's just like if something is orging something, it will find itself to be inside, like in the middle. Same thing as this one. So if I set this one to org, it's going to be orging this. I have a test. It's going to be orging it, like trying to cover it, just like you want to org someone. So that's just what org and fill does. So, and that is what we'll be using more in this context. So because this now is set to fill content and this one is set to fill content, which is actually what I want it to be, because so if I reduce this, it's going to reduce. So I will just leave that as that. Then because it's a mobile, I will also want to centralize my design on the mobile version. So that means I'll bring this one to center. I mean align center. So if I do like this, this stuff would be in the center. If I do this, so it's just going to align like that. So I make this one center, this one, okay, this one to center. So yeah, this is actually what I wanted. So this one center, but I'm just going to undo that for now because we are in the web version. So I don't need to center it in the web version. So this one has been done. What else can we do? We can now select this and this also, set them as auto layout, then make it to wrap. What does that wrap mean? That wrap means if I try to reduce this, this donate us is going to go under this joint community. That's actually what that wrap does. So this is it here. This is an auto layout function. This is horizontal, this is vertical, but this is horizontal, but this is wrap. So I set it to be, I leave it at wrap, and I can make it to be center. So that's for that. So then this and this also, this and these are in the frame, but I'm going to select this and this one. Okay, let me first select these two together. This one.
Mr. Okoyemi, sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
Like this mobile design that you want to do for the mobile, if I am actually designing for web, can I be doing this alongside so that I don't have to come back to do it?
Yes, exactly. The reason why we are coming back to do it is so I can just explain for you. Normally, if you are designing by yourself, you are doing this along as you are designing. Because you have the mindset of still designing for a mobile device or a tablet. So you should be designing with the mindset of that. So you should do this along as you're designing.
Okay.
So this and this.
Okay. I want to ask, if you have actually designed this for this Ignite Your Passion for a web, and you want to make it, you also want to design it for mobile, won't it alter the web design?
Pay attention. Let's follow along as I do. You are going to see what will happen eventually. So this one and this one now being auto layout also. It will be in auto layout also. And so if I reduce this, okay. So then this one will be set to fill. It should be set to fill container. And this one also will be set to fill container. but it's kind of affecting our design a little, which we don't want that to happen. We want this one to be 3. So firstly, I can say this one, it's not to layout. If I say this one should fill, then I send it to the right. So then this one too can now fill. So it won't alter our design. Still does. This is fill. This is fixed. Coming. This is fill. Okay. So what I did in order for it not to alter my design is, because this is already fill and this is an auto layout. This is an auto layout already. So if I set this one to fill container, this one, because this one is in fill and this one is in fill. And for if you remember what I said regarding having a fill container in a fill function in the container, that the container should be fixed in order for us to have this thing, in order for us to have a correct settings. So and that this is actually following that law. This is actually because this one is now fixed. Let me bring this one outside. Oh, sorry. Let me bring this one outside. So it's just a little bit of understanding. If you understand it very well, it's going to be quite easy. So if you look at this now, this one is in org contents. That means this container is orging whatsoever that is inside of it. This one is in fill. That means this one is actually filling whatsoever that is that it's containing it. That means that's like inside the container it is in. Same as this one and same as this button also. They are all in fill. But then if I try to move this one to have what it should have, you see this one is now fixed. It is no more filled because it is not filling this container. Why is it not filling this container? Look at, there's still some like extra spaces. If it's to fill this container, then that means it should be something like this. It's going to be something like this. But I said this one to fill now. Yeah, everything will be like this. Everything will be just there won't be any space remaining. So if I don't want that to happen, I still want, although this is actually correct, but based on our design, I still want this stuff to be 3 layer like this. So what I did is even this this being an auto layout, even though this is an auto layout, I still add auto layout to this auto layout. But play around with it. Don't try to understand it for now. You might be looking cumbersome. But add auto layouts. Sorry. This is it. If I had another auto layout for this one, let me see if it's actually going to work. Then I set it to fill. I set this one to fill. No, this one should be filled before it's yes. So this one should be filled. But something I've spoiled. Present. All right, we are back to normal. So this one is filled, right? This one too is filled. So if I try to this one is filled. Okay, if I try to let me see, if I try to reduce this, what we have, everything is working, but this is not working because this is not in fill. This one is in fixed. So I try to make it fill. It's all. No, it's not right. So I'll make this one fill.